And a very pleasant good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Tornado Talk, where we talk all things Brevard College Tornadoes athletics. Glad you're able to join us again. Exciting edition on tap this Monday night, first Monday night of the month of February. And with that, spring sports here at Brevard College are about to bloom. We've got action this weekend, both the baseball team and the men's lacrosse team on the road. Baseball, their season opener, a 3-game series at the old USA South Conference foe Averett in Danville, Virginia. That begins Saturday. Best of luck to the baseball team. And then men's lacrosse will get things started also at Averett in Danville, Virginia on Sunday. So best of luck to the spring sports as baseball and men's lacrosse kick things off. And then we'll have even more spring sports action the following week. Speaking of action, a big weekend for the indoor track and field program. They were at two different events this weekend, one in Salem, Virginia, the other at the Tryon Equestrian Center in Tryon, North Carolina. And the big highlight from the weekend, graduate student Channing Barker wins the 800 meters in the Salem, Virginia event. So congrats to Channing, but some big results all the way around. Encourage you to go to bctornadoes.com to read all about the track and field team over the weekend. Men's basketball, 2 straight wins this past week, 106-72 over Greensboro, and that was followed up with a big win, 81-72 over the USA South Conference defending champions, Mary Baldwin. Jadon Carnes, who will be a guest later on the program, USA South men's basketball player of the week. Next up for the Tornadoes, a trip to Pfeiffer. That's tomorrow at 7 p.m. And then at Methodist this Saturday in Fayetteville, North Carolina. So 2 straight road trips. And that is even furthered in terms of this road swing with a trip to Lees McRae on Monday, February 10th. Now, this was a game that was originally scheduled for way back at the beginning of the season, but due to Hurricane Helene, had to get rescheduled into this February slot. It's actually an exhibition, but one final non-conference appearance for the Tornadoes men's basketball team in Banner Elk, North Carolina, if you happen to be up in the area on February the 10th, a week from tonight. Also worth mentioning, BC men's basketball will next be at home on Saturday, February the 15th. That's senior day, part of a men's and women's doubleheader at the Bosch. Speaking of women's basketball, 81-53, the Tornadoes defeat Salem at the Bosch. Then the Tornadoes met Southern Virginia up in Virginia this past weekend, a rematch of the top 2 teams in the USA South Conference. Southern Virginia took that one 70-58. Now the Tornadoes have a week off in essence in terms of game action. Next up will be a trip to Salem on Wednesday, February the 12th in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And then that senior day, Saturday tilt versus Meredith, part of that men's women's senior day doubleheader at the Bosch on February 15th. And with that, we will invite into the program head women's basketball coach Donald Hudson. Always great to have Coach Hudson on board. Coach, how are you this evening?
All good, Phil. All good. Thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, great to have you. First time I've had the chance to catch up with you since the action this weekend. Once again, Southern Virginia and Brevard faced off, this time up at Southern Virginia's place. Southern Virginia gets the win 70-58, but I know there was a lot of positives to walk away from this one, but a tough result at the same time as Southern Virginia takes the 70-58 win.
Yeah, for sure. Phil, like you said, some positives that happened in the game. Definitely like not the desired result. We're not into like the moral victories or anything. But after that game, I will tell you, like I told the team, like it was nothing for me or the team like to hold our heads down about. We played a solid game. Just didn't do enough to quite get over the hump. When you're playing a team that's that talented, that well coached, and that good of a team, you can't have a ton of empty possessions. And I felt like we had a few of those at different times of the game, Phil. And that kind of led to them kind of lengthening their lead a little bit at different times. I think we went down as much as 14 at some point in the first half. Battled our way back, chipped away at it, and had that thing down to 4 or 5 at times, as far as a point differential. And so we had our chances. We had our shot. Some things that we'll have to go back to the drawing board with, myself included. This isn't just a loss that's on the team. I take my responsibility as well. I could have been better. I could have done some things better. Could have called some different plays or put us in different positions to be successful. But ultimately, Phil, the group played like we battled. We battled. Like going into that game, that was the main message, that you go into this game and you battle. Like no matter what the score said, no matter who's in the crowd, because it was a pretty good crowd there. Men's, women doubleheader. I think Methodist played their men before. So a lot of juice was kind of still in the building. And honestly, we like to play in those environments, but we battled. Just got to clean up some of these possessions and limit our turnovers. And turnovers were not a big problem this game, Phil. I think we averaged 15 on the year. And I think we had about 16 this game. But against a team like this, at their place, you got to have about 8 or 9. So clean up some of those possessions and put in some of our open shots, and you're looking at a totally different game. Like we got decent looks throughout. They just make you work for everything. They make you work for every pass, every catch, and when you kind of give them some second chances, and they kind of hammered us in the paint a little bit. I think both of their bigs had big days. So some things we can definitely clean up, but it wasn't a game where I felt the effort wasn't there. I thought the effort was there. I thought we were in tune to our scout. Just didn't work out for us. But going forward, we have a week now to prepare and to work on some things that we want to take down the stretch and into the tournament.
Last one on Southern Virginia, Coach. The first game up at Brevard, 71-62. Both teams, neck and neck throughout the whole contest. Then, as you mentioned, certainly battled hard and were right there in so many ways this past weekend. Potential for a third matchup against Southern Virginia. I know, coaches don't like us looking that far ahead like this, but, just the idea of these two teams continuing to battle each other and, Southern Virginia currently on that perch, but, Brevard looking to knock them off. And what have we learned through these first two games of the regular season?
Yeah, not looking forward at all, Phil, but we had a similar conversation in the locker room. We understand that there's steps to getting to that place and getting to that spot and getting a third matchup with this team. And something that we can take into it is, like I just talked about, you have to really, really lock into every possession. Every free shot that we give them as far as offensive rebounding, or they killed us some in transition at times. Like those are buckets that you have to take away because they make you work so hard on your offensive end. You can't give them anything easy. That's when you see them go on their 8 to 10 point runs, and now you're working your way uphill. So one of the biggest things that we'll take into a potential third matchup, I don't know how it's going to shake out. We have some things to do before then, but I'm just maximizing our possessions with the ball and being a little bit cleaner with our offense at times. I thought defensively we were okay. Some of our things did not go as well as we would like them to as far as helping the helper concepts, and we'll work on that some this week. But for the most part, Phil, I think our offense right now is the one thing that needs to kind of click a little bit for us to kind of get over the hump and knock this team off.
Now, the leading scorer in that matchup over the weekend was McKenna Parkins, and with her effort, she went over the 1,000-point club here at Brevard College. Just the fourth Brevard College tornado to go over the 1,000-point mark, spending all of her time at Brevard College in the women's basketball program. Analee Bollinger also reached that mark, but you've got to combine her, her previous stop with the Brevard College time as well. Just an amazing accomplishment for any student athlete. But I know, you've been there every step of the way for McKenna's career here at Brevard College. Would love for you to comment on that milestone and just what McKenna's meant for the program.
Yeah, for sure, Phil. A special accomplishment for a special player, and we didn't really get to celebrate it how you would like to, with it being that kind of accomplishment and that kind of career milestone. Coming off of a loss, she was more worried about that. That's the kind of player and the kind of person that she is. So we talked about it some in the locker room. I pulled her aside outside of our locker room conversation just to make sure that she understands that this is kind of a big deal, Mac. This doesn't happen a ton. And in the program's history, we have the pictures up in our locker room. She would be number 7, and that's the entirety of the program. That's not just in the D3 era. That's everybody that's come through here. So she would be number 7, and being there with her every step of the way and kind of watching her grow from year 1 to now, I can't say I saw it coming, Phil, but you kind of get that thought. Her sophomore year, she really started to pick it up a little bit and started to score with the best of them in our conference, and she kept continuing to do that, entering her junior and senior year, and here we are. That's a product of a lot of buckets and a lot of hard work, Phil. She'll be the first to tell you that it's not just an individual accomplishment. She doesn't get here without some of her teammates getting her the ball in right spots and setting her screens and getting her open looks and offensive rebounds, kick out to her for threes. So a lot of different things, a lot of different moving parts to get her to this spot. But for sure, special accomplishment for a special player, and well deserved. You know, she works her tail off. She's a dual sport athlete going into her 5th year, and really, really looking forward to how this thing winds down. You know, the McKenna that we saw on Saturday, that's the McKenna we're used to seeing hoop here the last few years. And she hasn't had one of those scoring outbursts in a while, but you could tell she was kind of aggressive, more aggressive this game. And this game meant a lot to us. And I could tell by the way that she was moving early that it was going to be a night where she wasn't going to empty her clip. Like if we were going to go down, she was going to go down fighting. And I was happy to see that her pace was good. She was boxing out, getting to the shots that we're used to her getting to. And big night for us.
Yeah, you mentioned you can't do it alone. You need your teammates' help. And one of those teammates, Analee Boyce, and it was featured on WLOS this past week. They've been together, dating all the way back to McDowell High School in Marion, North Carolina. A great story as far as that camaraderie goes. Encourage people to check it out. But, Coach, I know that's something you've been in the middle of as well. You've been there every step of the way for that journey between those two student athletes. And really special that two of them play high school ball together all those years and then come here and, their career, their senior seasons together here at Brevard College. It just really a special deal between those two.
Yeah, and you can see it and you can feel it. You can feel that cohesion on the court. Like I call them the McDowell twins every now and then when they're not doing what they're supposed to do, or just in general, just kind of shout out their McDowell twins. They know exactly who I'm talking to. And when that comes out, I'm talking to both of you, not just one of you. I'm talking to both of you. But it's been a pleasure to kind of watch them grow. I mean that, and I'm not just talking about basketball. As a coach, you watch players come in and they're going to go through different struggles throughout their career and different things, different highs and different lows. And both of them have grown tremendously on and off the court. The cohesion that's there from basketball that started back when they were playing at McDowell. I was going to watch McKenna play, and I thought the big that she was playing with played just as well as her in the game that I went to watch. And okay, I'm going to try to get involved with her as well. She was a year behind McKenna, so we had a year of recruiting to do to get her here, and I'm really glad it worked out. I'm two players that have done a lot for our program and also have done a lot for me personally. So really glad that they came and made the decision, and I'm kind of sad to see them walk away. But I know it's time. It's a part of the process. They've done their time here as far as putting in the work in the gym and the classroom and everything. Now it's time to go be adults. But extremely proud of both of them. Extremely, really looking forward to how this next 3-4 weeks plays out, and then watching them go into adulthood.
Great stuff. Yeah, Coach. And encourage folks to check out that WLOS story. We've got it up on all the social media channels if you had a chance to see it. And thanks to WLOS sports reporter Marvin Parker for coming out. Well, Coach, you mentioned it. Next up, not until Wednesday the 12th, trip to Salem. So some extra time this week for the team to gear up for the stretch run. And then Senior Day on Saturday, February the 15th at the Bosch. Hope to see a lot of folks out at that one as well. And with that, we're going to invite in the next couple guests here. So we've been talking about the seniors. There's Analee Boyce right on cue chiming in. But we want to invite in a couple of freshmen who are making a big impact into the contest. And we'll welcome them in. Coach, if you can stick with us just a little longer here as we welcome into the program Kayden Johnson and Analee Morris. Great to have these two on board. Coach, before we let you go, it's a debut for these two on Tornado Talk. Help introduce these two to NATO Nation.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Before I introduce them, I'll tell you this about these two. They have amazing stories, Phil. Amazing stories about things that go on outside of basketball. But I love when they come by and we have those conversations throughout the day. But Analee Morris and Kayden Johnson. Analee is from Rockmort High School down in Georgia, and Kayden from South Iredale. She and Shania Hauser went to the same school. Two freshmen that NATO Nation should get really, really used to seeing. At the end of this year, we're going to lose a lot of production. We're going to graduate a lot of our kids. And I have no doubt that we're not going to take a step back at all. And these two will be at the forefront of that. Really looking forward to what the career can blossom into. Two talented players. And the basketball that I'm speaking about, that comes second to the person and the people that they are. And that's the thing that kind of makes this program what it is. We have good players and everything, but even better people. Phil, they make my job easy. Looking forward to watching them kind of blossom. But like I said a few minutes ago, NATO Nation get used to watching these two.
Outstanding stuff. Coach, Best of luck this week as you guys continue to prepare for this USA South Conference stretch. Really enjoyed having you this evening on Tornado Talk. Thanks for joining the show as always.
Yep. Good night, ladies. Get some sleep.
Yes, sir.
All right, there goes Coach Hudson, and he helped introduce these two so eloquently. Kayden Johnson with us. She's the freshman from Statesville, North Carolina. How are you, Kayden?
I'm good. How are you?
And also with us, Analee Morris making her Tornado Talk debut as well, the freshman from Rockmart, Georgia. How are you, Analee?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. Well, both of you freshmen on this Brevard College women's basketball team. You're under the direction of head coach Donald Hudson, who we just heard from. Analee, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit what this experience has been like for you, freshman member of the Brevard College women's basketball team, and you're getting serious minutes and that kind of thing. But can you kind of sum up what the entire experience has been like so far?
It's been great. There is a lot of experience in front of me, a lot of seniors, and it's been a great experience being able to learn from them. A point guard like Lexi Shepard, I mean, she has an amazing IQ, so it's been great learning from her. Josie Hester, learning from her, and then just the relationships I've been able to build this fast has been great.
Yeah, great stuff as we see some of your numbers come across the screen. And Kayden Johnson with us as well. Same question for you. We're in February now, and fall semester is behind us. And your experience here at Brevard College and Brevard College women's basketball, what's it been like?
It's been very good, especially with the team coming in as a freshman with a team that has as good a chemistry as they have, and coming in and be able to mesh with them as much as I have. It kind of gives just the good teamwork that they have, and it feels like a family.
Yeah, no doubt. And Kayden, we're seeing some of those numbers come across, and I want you to think back to your collegiate debut. It came versus William Peace. You sunk a couple free throws in that one. You pulled down a board as well. But that's a big moment for anyone who's transitioning from high school basketball to college basketball. Can you think back what it felt like that evening at the Bosch when you made your debut?
It was definitely exciting. I remember going in and I was just smiling because I was so excited to get my first collegiate points. And my family was there, and that was one of the games that they came to. And so it was just a really fun night.
Yeah, cool stuff that your family was able to be there as well. And Analee Morris, I'll have you reflect back a little bit to that trip to Warren Wilson that just came a couple days later after that William Peace game. And this was sort of the bust out performance for you. Career high 15 points. You had 4 steals, just all over the court at Warren Wilson. Do you remember that one? And do you have some memories from that game and kind of, sort of a breakout game for you?
Yes, sir. Going into that game, we prepared, early on, just like all the other games. But I don't know, there was just something about that night that everything was clicking. I was able to be where I needed to be, and my teammates were able to find me when I was open.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I know how humble you Tornadoes can be on the women's basketball team. So I'm going to go this direction. I'm going to ask each of you to talk about the other and tell NATO Nation, we'll start with Kayden on Analee. You tell us about Analee, what she like as a teammate, what she like as a basketball player, what she like as a Tornado. Tell us about her.
Analee is definitely one of the best players I've played with. It's just she's so calm and collected when she's playing, and she doesn't if we're playing a team that speeds up the game, she can keep her composure, and she's not trying to speed up her game. And she has a way of making her defenders just not know what she's gonna do. She's just very smooth about everything she does. And as a Tornado, she definitely represents us how Hudson wants us to. And yeah, she's just an overall really good person.
Great stuff. Well, Analee, you get to return the favor now for Kayden.
Yeah. First of all, Kayden is one of the best teammates I could be around. If you think of a good teammate, you think of Kayden. She's definitely my biggest fan. And same with me, I'm her biggest fan. She goes in and she don't give herself nearly enough credit, first off. But I mean, she goes in and she can impact the game immediately. In practice, she's getting boards, she's scoring, making shots. I mean, just doing everything the right way in the right spots. So it's super fun playing with her.
Kayden, Coach mentioned that you're come from the same high school in Statesville, North Carolina, as Shania Hauser, who's now a senior on the Tornadoes. I know there's a little bit of separation in terms of age, but was there any sort of connection there? Did you guys know each other back in your high school and youth days? And were you able to connect the dots once you got here to Brevard as well with Shania?
Yes, sir. I was a freshman and she was a senior in high school, and we both played on varsity. And so we were kind of close when in high school. And so I knew she was going to Brevard when I committed here. And so that was another reason I wanted to come here, because I knew Shania was here.
Very cool. And Analee Morris out of Rockmart, Georgia. Now, Analee, folks might not know who've been watching you play basketball all winter, that you're also going to be, suiting up as a member of the Brevard College softball team this spring, which their season's right around the corner. A dual sport athlete. Tell us a little bit how, you handle both sports and what's it like being on both teams.
Both coaches have been super accommodating, and I feel like the transition, they're going to make it a lot easier on me than it could go. In the beginning, it was kind of tough preseason for both. But once basketball season started, I'm fully basketball. And then once our season wraps up, I'll turn into fully softball. But as of now, I'm still going to some workouts that they're having when I'm able to, just to be around the team and build that chemistry already.
Outstanding. Well, best of luck with that transition. And, I know it's been done before, basketball and softball. So, there's a template out there for you. So best of luck, Analee. I really appreciate you taking that on. Well, do want to dive in a little bit as far as each of your backgrounds. Kayden, out of Statesville, North Carolina. Tell us a little bit when you first picked up a basketball and when it became serious and, ultimately finding your way to Brevard.
So probably whenever I started playing basketball in around like 3rd grade, and I think I started taking it serious in about like 6th grade, because it's when me and my dad used to play against each other all the time, and I was really competitive, and he was never the I'll let you win type of player. So it's just, I think that's when the love for the game grew, and I was like, I think I want to keep on doing this. And then my high school coach, my senior year, Mariah Johnson, she's the one that kind of introduced me to Brevard, and I started talking to Hudson and AB, and I came here on a visit, and it just kind of gave a homey feeling, and I just knew this is where I needed to be.
Analee, same question for you. Tell us about your background in the sport of basketball.
Yeah, so I started playing about 4 years old. And I mean, it's always been basketball. I've always had a ball in my hand. Never wanted to take a day off. I mean, I just immediately fell in love with the game. It got serious. I was probably in about 4th or 5th grade when I told my dad I wanted to play basketball in college. And then ever since then, it's just been doing everything I can to get here. And I know the work's not done now that I'm here.
Well,
Gotta keep going.
Yeah, no doubt. We're thrilled each of you chose Brevard College and you're a member of this Tornado women's basketball team. Really looking forward to seeing the two of you and the rest of the team come down this home stretch and, battle for the USA South Conference title. Before we let you go, we've got a tradition here at Tornado Talk where each of you has the opportunity to give any thank yous or shout outs to someone, who might be watching or might have helped you along the way, or you just want to say what's up to. We'll let Analee kick things off. You got any shout outs for us?
The other freshmen, Malika Rankin and Kennedy Gentry, and our roommate Liz. Couldn't do it without them.
Very good. Same opportunity for you, Kayden. Got shout outs for us?
I like to shout out my dad. He's watching. And also my roommate Liz and the other freshman. Liz she always pushes me and Analee to keep on going.
Very good. Kayden Johnson and Analee Morris, 2 freshmen on the Brevard College women's basketball team. Just 2 more reasons to come on out to the Bosch and see these student athletes in action. Best of luck as you guys continue your preparation for the USA South Conference tournament and with practice this week and beyond. And great job on your debut here on Tornado Talk. Thanks for joining the show.
Thank you so much.
All right, we're going to switch gears quickly to the men's side of the hardwood as we invite in head coach Lee Burgess from the Brevard College men's basketball program. Great to have Coach Burgess on board. How are you, Coach?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing great. Well, I know there was a practice just moments ago. How was the workout this evening on a Monday night?
It was good. It was quick, but we got done what we needed to get done. Game tomorrow, so definitely have that in mind as we're practicing today. But we got done what we needed to. Thought we were crisp. Thought we were competitive, and did a film session afterwards as well. So I thought it was a day well spent.
Well, we'll get into that game tomorrow in just a moment, but I do want to reflect back on these past two contests this past week. First, a 106-72 win over Greensboro, just eye-popping numbers in this one. Record set in terms of field goal made. One of the top offensive performances we've ever seen here at the Bosch. Coach, please reflect back on that contest and everything going in so many ways, and 106-72, you got to be pleased.
Yeah, I was pleased with the game for sure. Offensively, we had a great night offensively. Shot it well, got some easy buckets, and really played very efficiently offensively. Feel like we could have guarded a little bit better. We're always going to find something that we can improve on or could have done better. I think the thing that I've never really been a part of in a game quite. I mean, I believe it was 28 assists to 4 turnovers is what we had in that game. 28 assists and 4 turnovers. I don't know that I've seen something like that before. And just a credit to our guys. I mean, we've got a very unselfish group that is very okay with teammates having success and celebrating teammates' successes. And that just bleeds over into the court where, if you've got an okay shot, but a teammate's got a great one, we've got a team full of guys that's giving that ball up. And I think that's why, we've been very efficient here recently. Offensively it's been fun to watch. It's always fun to watch when the ball goes in, but you've got a much better chance of the ball going in when you're shooting great shots. And we've got guys who don't force it, who don't hunt their own. And that makes it much easier to shoot it well.
Yeah, just eye-popping numbers in that one. 43 made field goals, a school record, 65% from the field, hit 15 3-pointers, and your memory was correct, Coach. 28 assists and 4 turnovers, just outstanding work there. And then big matchup this past Saturday, and it goes the Tornadoes' way, 81-72 over Mary Baldwin, the defending champions of the USA South Conference, and knew this was going to be a tough matchup going in. Mary Baldwin won the matchup up at their place earlier in the season, but Tornadoes took care of business 81-72. Tell us about it, Coach.
Yeah, a great win. Mary Baldwin, the defending champions in the league, and smacked us really. They played really well and beat us down pretty good at their place earlier this year. And so, we certainly saw on film some technical things that we could have done better. And I thought our guys did a phenomenal job of implementing that. But the biggest thing is, I think our mentality going into the game was right. Mary Baldwin tried to get physical with us, tried to, play with a ton of energy defensively, and to kind of take us out of offense as much as possible. That's hard to do with us, but when teams get up into us a little bit, we haven't always had the right mentality. And that was the biggest thing that we needed to shift from the game at their place. And I thought our guys did a great job of that. There was a lot of ebbs and flows in the game. We would play well for a stretch. Mary Baldwin would come back and either cut it or take the lead a little bit. And same thing in the second half. We had a little bit of a lead. Mary Baldwin, came back and took the lead. Showed our guys the clip today in practice. So, we're down 8 minutes to go in the game, and the ball looks like it's sailing completely out of bounds, and Drayshawn Brown comes out of nowhere to save the ball at midcourt from going out of bounds, and it falls into Jadon's hand, and Jadon takes a couple dribbles and buries a 3-pointer at the buzzer. That was a huge spark. You never know when those sparks are going to come, where they're going to come, how they're going to come. But that gave us the lead with 8 minutes to go. We never gave up the lead from that point on. That gave us a 1-point lead. We never gave it up. That started a 16-3 run over the next 6 minutes, and that put the game away. It was a phenomenal winning play, a phenomenal hustle play from Drayshawn. And again, you never know when those opportunities are going to come, where they're going to come, and what doing something like that can lead to. So, yeah, a lot of ebbs and flows in the game. I thought we were the tougher team down the stretch, and that's why we were able to come away with a win.
Yeah, that play, Drayshawn to Jadon, one of the more remarkable that we've ever seen at the Bosch. Encourage folks to go on social media. Student reporter Alex Bolton caught up with each of them. They were able to kind of walk us through the whole scenario, and there's a highlight clip on there as well from it. So encourage folks to check that out. Well, Coach, you mentioned next up a game tomorrow at Pfeiffer, 7 p.m. on the road. Looking forward to this matchup, and the Tornadoes continuing their winning ways, but have to go on the road for this one.
Yeah, no, I hope we can go in and play well. Pfeiffer's a very good team. They started the year 0-2 and are now 6-2 in league play. Won six games in a row, conference-wise. The 2 games they lost at Southern Virginia, at Mary Baldwin, and both of them were at the buzzer. It's a very, very good team we're going to play. They beat us in a fairly close game here, at home. And yeah, we've seen some things that we can do a little bit differently. And a lot of it is mentality as well. The margin for error in these games with the top half of this league is razor thin. And so your edge has to be sharp. You can't tiptoe into the start of the game. You can't back up when you get punched in the mouth. There's going to be we're going to play through some highs tomorrow. We're going to play through some frustrations tomorrow. It's just how it's going to be. And so we've got to respond the right way. We've got to have the right mindset and focus on the things that are going to help us win the game, and not get distracted by things that aren't. So, I'm hopeful that it's going to be a good contest. We're playing a really good team. But I think we're a quality team as well. So hopefully our edge is sharp and we're able to go in there and put forward a good foot.
Outstanding. 7:00 tomorrow. And, that's part of a stretch of 3 straight road games, the third being an exhibition at Lees-McRae. That was rescheduled from way back, when, Lees-McRae in particular up there in Banner Elk was dealing with the hurricane and so forth. But, we've talked about it before, Coach, but this idea of being on the road and these business trips, it's an interesting week ahead here for the Tornadoes.
It is. We'll have Methodist on Saturday, then Lees-McRae, and we'll turn our attention to them, to Methodist after this game. And yeah, it's a business trip. We've got to be ready to go tomorrow. There's no kind of. We enjoy being on the road with each other. It's fun to be a college basketball team and a college basketball player and coach and go on the road with your guys. There's fun aspects of it, but this is not a relaxing time. There's business at hand, and we've got to make sure that we're preparing the right way. So while there's fun in the camaraderie, this is not a relaxing time, and it's time to get to work.
Well, Coach, before I let you go and before we bring in the student athletes, I do want to mention. Been busy on the community front as well. Really appreciate the programs that we've been seeing coming out from both men's and women's basketball. But this past week, Coaches versus Cancer was a program happening across all of college basketball that yourself and your coaching staff took part in. We held the annual Red Out for Jimmy Griffin game on Saturday, which is something, I know near and dear to your heart, Coach, and in support of the American Heart Association and Heart Month here in February. And also we had the group from the Transylvania Special Olympics here this past Saturday, and it was great to celebrate the win over Mary Baldwin with that group. Would love your thoughts as far as, just how these type of programs are so important to you as the leader of the Tornadoes, but for the entire culture of BC men's basketball.
Yeah, it's certainly, I mean, there's a big world out there beyond just the basketball court at Brevard College. And, we certainly want to, highlight all positive things that we possibly can to shine light on good stories and good causes whenever we can. But it's also, it's about talking to our guys about things. And, as I'm the head coach of that team and leading that group, you talk about the red out for Jim Griffin, and that was a player that I coached in my previous stop at Samford University who passed away in his sleep from an undetected heart condition. And I'm doing my best to honor his family's wishes of keeping Jim's name and legacy alive. And by doing that, I'm able to talk to our guys in the locker room about the type of player and teammate and person that Jim was. And that's a great teaching point for them as well, just about what Jim did well to get on the floor and what kind of teammate he was, and how, they're able to emulate some of the things that he did as well, 15 years later. And so, there's a lot of good that comes from all the things that you mentioned. We get as much benefit out of doing those things as the people that we are trying to support as well. And it's a win-win for everybody.
Do want to mention one more, of course, team impact, Javon Clark in his second year as a Tornado. It's been great to have Javon along for the ride, right, Coach?
It has. I got a text from his mother today, just with a video of our guys leaving the court after the game on Saturday. And it brings a little, I'm not an ultra emotional person, and many of you may be shocked to hear that. But a little bit choked up watching the video of all of our guys walking by Javon and giving him a fist bump, and coaching staff as well, and just how at home he feels with our program. I love that. He's been around for a couple years now, and we're winding down the official relationship. But I'm sure that unofficial relationship is gonna keep going beyond just the 2-year official relationship. And our guys, again, our guys have benefited just as much as I hope Javon has from being a part of the program. It's been a win-win for everybody associated.
Fantastic stuff, Coach Lee Burgess. Coach, stick with us just a couple minutes longer. We're going to invite in a couple of the student athletes who have been waiting patiently backstage, and Jadon Carnes, USA South Conference Player of the Week, named earlier this afternoon. Also, Charlie Hester joining the program as well. Most viewers of this program, Coach, members of NATO Nation, know all about these two, but love for you to tell us even more. Yeah,
Charlie, senior for us, second year in the program from Charlotte. And has really stepped up in terms of his leadership of this year. Last year, I think, was really him trying to get his feet underneath him, learning how to play offense with us, how to play defense with us, how to use his voice in the locker room. It's a different deal when you've transferred in to a program where there's a lot of experience. And Charlie had a great first year, just getting his feet under him with how we do things. And now there's a huge jump this year that we've seen in terms of his comfort level using his voice, how we play offense, how we play defense. And you're seeing him be super effective on the court on both sides, and super effective with his leadership as well. Jadon Jr., his third year for us, is just probably the biggest model of consistency that we've got in the program, just in terms of what you can expect from him on the court, what you can expect from him from a focus level, what you can expect from him from a talking standpoint. He's got the respect of all the guys, just because, and we've got a locker room, I think, full of guys that are about the right things. But Jadon he's very much about the right things. And, Jadon is super efficient, scoring the basketball, his assist to turnover ratio is really, really good. And I think that, guys know, he could probably shoot a few more shots than he does. But he's looking for his teammates in a great way. And because of that, I think, again, has the respect level at a tremendous level from the guys in the locker room. So, both these guys are about what we want our program to be about. I'm glad they're on the show, and you're going to get to talk to them a little bit more. And I think NATO Nation, like you said, is very familiar with them. But in a locker room full of guys that I think are about the right things, these guys are at the top of that, and very, very thankful for their contributions.
Fantastic. Well, Coach, thanks for making some time for us this Monday evening. Best of luck tomorrow at Pfeiffer. We'll see you soon at the Bosch. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Phil.
All right, there he goes, head coach Lee Burgess. And as Coach Burgess helped introduce these two, we've got Jadon Carnes on board once again. How are you, Jadon?
Good, Phil. How are you?
Doing great. And Charlie Hester making another appearance here on the program, the senior. How are you, Charlie?
Good. How about you?
Doing great. Well, Jadon, first things first. Breaking news earlier this afternoon, USA South Conference men's basketball player of the week after a 19.6 rebound, 2 steal performance in that big win over Mary Baldwin. I always wonder about these things, Jadon. This news comes out. How'd you hear about it?
So I've been in class since I had a very long class today from 12:30 to 4:30, and then we had practice at 5. So I found out right before practice, whenever I kind of got to the locker room. So I didn't find out whenever it first happened. I found out a few hours after everything had kind of got released.
Well deserved, as I mentioned, the 19.6 rebound performance in the win over Mary Baldwin. Probably the most the mention I make is that win part that you're probably most happy about. I know, Jadon, having gotten to know you over the years. Can you reflect a little bit on that Mary Baldwin game and your performance in particular?
Yeah, it was a great team win. We had made adjustments from the last game. Going into the game on to Saturday that really helped us and helped pull us away. I had a great game, but that's all because of my teammates. I don't really like to take credit for anything. My teammates did a great job just finding me in open spots. And, of course, I look for my teammates in open spots as well. And we were able to execute our game plan at a really efficient rate.
Charlie Hester with us as well. Big part of that Mary Baldwin win. Also 11 points, 5 rebounds in the win over Mary Baldwin. Charlie, would love for you to add to what Jadon just talked about as far as, the team win versus Mary Baldwin. And that was a big one for you guys, and you guys got it done when it mattered.
Yeah, we all knew it was kind of one we had to win. Especially after last time we went up there and they beat us by 20. So we knew this was a big one for us. And we all contributed. I think everybody played good. And for me, I just tried to start off the game just with a bunch of energy. And just I really wasn't trying to worry about scoring and stuff, trying to do everything else it takes to win, really.
Yeah, you mentioned, Charlie, everybody chipping in, coming from so many different parts as far as, the output goes, and you look at the stat sheet and, there's all sorts of guys with big contributions. Can you talk about that a little bit, about this year's team and how it's got to be tough for an opponent because you don't know who's going to have the hot hand necessarily for the Tornadoes, but plus there are just so many versatile players, so many veterans on this team.
Yeah, I think our coach talks about that. All the time, how strength in numbers is one of our biggest strengths, really. So we have a lot of good guys who can come off the bench. All of our starting guys can go score 10, 15, 20 points on any night. And then we got, all of our freshmen too, just people who, they're not expecting freshmen to come in and do what they're doing, but they're good players too. So we have a lot of guys that can do it all.
Yeah, Jadon, would love for you to add to that, whether it's the starters, the second unit, all sorts of options for the Tornadoes offensively and, guys getting it done across the board on the defensive end as well. What are you seeing as far as this year's team and that sort of, versatility, strength in numbers, as Coach says?
Yeah, we're just a really good offensive team. There's not a guy on the team that can't put the ball in the hole against anybody. There's not a guy on the team that can't go off at any time or any moment in the game. And with that, we're also a very good defensive team too. Whenever we really truly put our minds to it, we're versatile in a lot of ways, and everybody can contribute in each specific way, and it makes us really hard to guard, and it makes us really hard to scout too.
Yeah, I'd only imagine, trying to scout for this team. It's like, which piece of game film do you choose to try to figure this thing out? Because there's been so many guys, on the leaderboard in terms of, the outputs and so forth. Charlie Hester with us, along with Jadon, Carnes. Charlie, Coach mentioned, this being your second year here at Brevard after you transferred in, and how, you've sort of hit a different stride while you're here. Can you talk about that a little bit as far as your comfort level and just how it's been different for you year 2 at Brevard versus your first time around?
Yeah. I mean, I would say last year was just a lot of learning, just learning all the new stuff, offense, the way we're playing defense. I've never played switching everything like that. And then just knowing my teammates and stuff like that too, just getting to know them, what they want to do on the court, how they are off the court too. This year I've just tried to, just be more of a leader on and off the court, just trying to lead by example, doing the right things, just doing the right things on the court, trying to make the little plays, like high effort plays. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I would say just trying to be more of a leader, trying to be more aggressive on the court.
And Jadon, similar question for you, junior season. What are you noticing about yourself and sort of your comfort level, your game, your contributions compared to maybe when you arrived as a freshman and, year 2 as a sophomore?
Yeah, just taking more of a leadership role day by day. It's being my third year. I've been able to learn from guys who have been ahead of me, and I've been able to take what they have taught me and apply it to our younger guys, especially the last 2 years. And with the way that our team looks now and the way it's going to look next year, that will require me to be in a more of a leadership role. And so practicing those tools now, using my voice more, whether it's on the court or off the court, just allows for me to be a leader and to be most effective to help our team.
Big matchup tomorrow versus Pfeiffer on the road. We spoke to Coach quite a bit about it. Jadon, what's going to be the key to getting a victory tomorrow on the road at Pfeiffer?
Yeah, the key is just going to be able to hone in on our scout. They're a very good team, and that's a very tough place to play. And they have a lot of really good players. So, being able to play defense at the way that we know we can play it to our max potential, being able to rebound the ball, and being able to be aggressive, being able to match their physicality. They're a very physical team, and they love to push their opponents around. And so being able to match that and match their energy with our own and be able to get to what we want to get to, we believe can help push us over the edge tomorrow night.
Charlie, can you add to that as far as, the key to victory tomorrow night?
Yeah, I would say it's going to start on defense. They have, like us, they have a lot of good players that can put the ball in the basket. They probably go like 10 deep like us too. So just being able to guard them, keep them out of the paint, rebound the ball since they have 6'8" guy, another big dude down there. So we'll have to rebound the ball, be physical. And then, the offense is going to do its thing. I'm not worried about offense really. So everything else.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense the way the Tornadoes are shooting. The defense might be the difference tomorrow at Pfeiffer. Well, best of luck for that big matchup. We'll be following every step of the way. Do want to take things from the hard court to the classroom. Jadon Carnes with us, a junior. What have you been working on in the classroom, Jadon? What are you majoring in? Tell us about your studies.
Yes, I'm a physical education major in recreation with a minor in coaching. Being a junior now, I've kind of shifted away from all my gen ed and is now really focusing and toning in on my major classes and also my minor classes as well, which has been a blast for me because those are the classes that I love to take. Those are the classes I get to learn things and hopefully apply to my future. And so being able to learn what it takes to be a good facilitator for younger kids or for adults, and also to learn some coaching tactics, which is what I hope to get into in the future.
Fantastic stuff. And Charlie Hester, senior out of Huntersville, North Carolina. Tell us what you've been working on, Charlie. What's the degree going to be in? And tell us perhaps some of your future plans as well beyond graduation.
Yeah, so I'm a business major. I've been taking a lot of the major classes too this year in general. Right now, I'm taking 19 hours just straight major classes and stuff. So it's been pretty busy, but I mean, I'm enjoying it. So just trying to get everything done. Hopefully, I'm gonna try and get into like some sort of finance uh, job, personal financial advisor, something like that is what I'm thinking. But we'll see what happens.
Outstanding. Well, great examples both on and off the court. Jadon, Carnes, and Charlie Hester. Well, you guys know the drill. Before we let you go, got any shout outs for us? Jadon, you first.
I want to shout out my family. Shout out my brothers who are my best friends and my rock. Shout out to all my coaches and to everybody who's been able to help me put in this position. Shout out to my lovely girlfriend Isabel and all my teammates.
Very nice. Charlie?
I don't have anything. Come on, Jaden, you made me look bad right now.
I even gave you the extra time while Jadon was going. Nothing for us, Charlie? No problem.
Family, all my friends. There you go.
Well, I'll give a shout out to your sister, Josie Hester, who's getting it done on the women's basketball side of things. It's an awesome story having, the brother-sister duo. How about a quick word about Josie and the women's team and what you're seeing there, Charlie?
I mean, it's nothing really surprising to me. I knew what she was going to be able to do this year. So, I mean, it's just cool to see her going out there and being the leader on her team too, just going out there senior year and just doing what she's worked on. So it's been cool to see.
Very cool. Well, can't wait to see what's next for you guys. You guys are on a great roll right now. 2 big wins this past week. The huge one against Mary Baldwin, but right back to work tomorrow at Pfeiffer. Best of luck there. Thanks for joining the show, Jadon Carnes and Charlie Hester.
Thank you, Phil.
Thank you, Phil.
All right. Well, we're going to switch gears again and invite into the program. The Brevard College cheerleading program has some representation, as we've got head cheerleading coach Chandler Ryan with us. Also, Christine Keever is joining the program. Ashley Hoxit will be with us momentarily as well. There she is. Great to have with us the cheerleading team represented by head coach Chandler Ryan and 2 student athletes, Ashley Hoxit and Christine Keever. Coach Ryan, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. And Christine, great to have you aboard. How are you this evening?
I'm good. How are you today?
Doing great. And in that lower box location, Ashley Hoxit, a veteran here of Tornado Talk. How are you, Ashley?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. Great to have you guys aboard. Well, we wanted to have you on regardless, but what big news a couple weeks ago. We'll start with you, Coach Chandler Ryan, as the Tornadoes went to the UCA Collegiate Cheerleading National Championships. First time in program history that Brevard College cheerleading has gone to the Nationals. It was down at ESPN Wide World of Sports, Disney World down in Orlando. Just a amazing opportunity for the Tornadoes. Now that it's in the books, Coach Chandler Ryan, and it's officially has happened, can you reflect back on just how meaningful this was for the program and, what it was all about for the Tornadoes down there?
I think it was a great opportunity for them. That was actually my first time ever going as well. So we all kind of went into it blindly, but I think we all had a ton of fun, and we're definitely going to keep doing this annually. So we definitely know what to work on for next year.
Very cool. Christine, tell us a little bit about your experience there. What were some of your memories? Tell us some of the highlights. What was it like to be there?
For me personally, it was just kind of eye-opening because I got to not just see like our team get to experience this, but I got to see like other big schools like Ohio and Alabama and all of them perform. So being able to see like these bigger schools doing something that we were doing as well was very like experiential and like inspiring almost.
Very cool. And Ashley, I'd love to hear your impressions of the trip down there to the national championships in Orlando.
It was honestly like nothing that I've ever seen before. I didn't start cheerleading until my senior year of high school, so I never like even like experienced competitions. And then for me just to be able to go to like the Super Bowl of cheerleading is like my first big competition. Like it was just like a really cool experience.
Very cool. The Super Bowl of cheerleading. Tornadoes were there in the thick of it. Tell us a little more, Ashley, about the venue, what it was like traveling to Orlando. It's wintertime up here in North Carolina, so you guys had the chance to head on down there to the Sunshine State. But tell us about the venue, ESPN Wide World of Sports, and what it was like to be there in the land of Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, so they had like 2 different buildings. In the building that we performed in, they actually had 2 different stages. So after we performed, like Christine said, we were able to walk around to the other side of the building and watch like all these big D1 schools perform. Like I remember I watched Oklahoma and I think Western Kentucky. So it was just like really cool to see all that. And then obviously we had a great time at Disney. The weather was nice. It was a good chance to get away from the cold and the snow.
Christine, tell us more about Disney World, ESPN Wide World of Sports, and the trip to Orlando.
I really enjoyed it because it was a very great team bonding experience overall. We got to like be outside of the classroom and off the mat. So we got to be able to be as ourselves for once, really together and doing something we all enjoyed. And being able to go to Disney in general was just a great opportunity.
Yeah, no doubt. And Coach, just that trip in the student athletes just both touched on it, the idea of team bonding and being able to experience this together. But the competition's one thing, but the overall trip and the experience to go to someplace like ESPN Wide World of Sports really makes it special.
Yes, definitely. It was kind of overwhelming a little bit, but I think it was a great experience for everyone.
Yeah, well, I'm so happy that you all were able to make that trip down there. So, Coach, you mentioned this, being a goal to do this on an annual basis. Tell us, sort of big picture, the cheerleading program, the competition side of things, and how that sort of works together with what, NATO fans see at the basketball and the football games.
So what we competed in was game day. So that is pretty much taking what we do at football, mainly football games, and putting it onto the mat at competition and really just, I guess, being very excessive with it is how I'm going to be able to describe that. But you have to do the fight song and your dance to the fight song, and then you have to do a cheer that you don't know until you get there, until you're on the mat and they call it out, and you have to just know what you're doing. And then they do like a time, like what we would do for timeouts normally. You have to perform all of that within 3 minutes. And so the good thing is during football, we get to really practice that and then just go out to the mat and perform.
Very compelling how that all works. Christine, tell us sort of, the differences for you cheering at football or basketball and then, competition like Coach just described.
For me, being out on the field, like for football, you have like the heat and the sun, you have your crowd in front of you, the loud student section, and everyone's kind of just like cheering you on. They know the Tornadoes, they know us, and they know the cheers. For basketball, it's the same way. We're out in the court, we're doing our own thing. And then being out on the mat was a real adrenaline rush more because you're in front of complete strangers. You're on live stream and television. You don't know what they're going to call, but it was very thrilling for me and exciting because I got to do something that I've loved and been passionate about for 10 years. And it was just a great experience.
Outstanding. And Ashley, what a lot of people don't realize is just the preparation that goes into, competing in an event like this. And, I was able to get out there to one of your practices and kind of witness it firsthand. But can you shed a little light to, our audience as far as, what the preparation's like for you all, how long had you all been working on it? And then, just, how intense at times the preparation can be.
Yeah. So, these routines, they usually get put together kind of at the beginning of the school year, like Chandler's talking about. They start practicing during football season and kind of piecing that all together. And then once we get closer to like competition, we'll start having like longer practices. When we came back from winter break, we had a few like 5-hour practices where it was just repetition after repetition after repetition, just trying to like perfect those tiny little things to make it look as clean and presentable as possible.
Yeah, very cool. Ashley Hoxit, the senior from Balsam Grove, North Carolina, dual sport athlete, also a member of that Brevard College volleyball program. What's it been like, being a dual sport athlete, balancing cheerleading with volleyball?
Well, if you would have told me 4 years ago that when I committed to Brevard that I would have done volleyball and cheerleading, I probably would have told you that you were crazy. But it's been a lot of fun, honestly. Like I tell people all the time, like cheerleading is just like a good thing for me to do out of like volleyball season. Like it's hard and challenging, but it's fun for me. So I've just like really been able to enjoy the fact that I'm getting pushed in an aspect that I haven't been before. So I just like the new challenge of it.
And Christine Keever, the junior out of Brevard, North Carolina, Brevard High School, just down the road from us here at Brevard College. What's it been like, Christine, for you to get to go to Brevard College? I'm always kind of curious for student athletes like yourself. Was this a goal of yours? Did you grow up around the college and then eventually you made your way here? What's it been like being a local but now a Tornado?
It was an adaptation for me. Being from the high school and then from this town in general, I knew a lot of people, and coming from Brevard High School cheering and then from here cheering, there's still a lot of the same fans, but you also have the new fans that are traveling to see their students. But I've loved this town and all. I've always wanted to come here and be able to say I graduated from Brevard High and then Brevard College.
Very cool. And speaking of graduating from Brevard College, Coach Chandler Ryan, an alum of Brevard College, how gratifying has it been for you? And, how meaningful has it been to you, Coach, being an alum, having cheered here, once upon a time at Brevard College, but now being able to coach this program?
I love it. It's been great for me to really just come and try to like build that program back up, because when I was here we would compete, but it was never like on the level that it is now, and I'm just glad that I can be a part of that growing process for them.
Fantastic. Well, appreciate your leadership, Coach Ryan. A couple more for the student athletes before we let you go. Christine, junior year, tell us what you're working on in the classroom.
Currently I'm working towards doing my senior presentation. I'm an English education major, so I've been trying to do a lot of EDU classes along with English classes, learning literature and grammar editing to help students whenever I can become an educator myself.
Very nice. An outstanding program here at Brevard College. And Ashley Hoxit, the senior with us as well. Graduation coming right around the corner. Ashley, tell us what the degree is going to be in and any future plans.
So I'm graduating with an exercise science degree with minors in coaching and business. And I'm trying to continue my career. I've applied to a few master's programs. So I'm planning on doing more school. And then once I graduate from there, the goal is to be like a strength and conditioning coach or a personal trainer.
Outstanding. Shout outs. This is a part of the routine here. We're gonna excuse Coach,
Okay.
Unless you absolutely insist, Coach. But Christine, we'll let you go first. You got any shout outs or thank yous here for us?
I definitely want to shout out my grandparents. They've been my rock through it all. They've been to every single game since I started cheerleading and even when I played golf back in middle school. I also want to shout out my coaches because they've definitely helped me progress throughout my cheerleading career and helping me just focus in my studies.
Ashley, shout outs for us?
I just want to shout out my family because they always support me in whatever I do. And I just want to thank Lori and Chandler for giving me the opportunity to do cheerleading outside of volleyball because it's been a lot of fun.
Very cool. Great stuff. We'll leave the final word for you, head coach Chandler Ryan. Would love for you to just express how proud of you are of all your student athletes and, what it took to make that trip down to Orlando and what you guys continue to do with cheer here at BC.
I'm extremely proud of them. I knew that it was going to be a very eye-opening experience, but I'm proud of them for going out and trying their best, and I look forward to taking them back down there.
Very good. Well, big congratulations to the entire program. Can't wait to see as the program continues to grow and evolve. Christine Keever, Ashley Hoxit, Coach Chandler Ryan. Great job on Tornado Talk as well this evening. Thanks for joining the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and that'll wrap up another edition of Tornado Talk. Big thanks to all that joined the program as guests, all those that tuned in, all those that commented on social media, and big thanks to our producer, Alex Bolton, and also production assistant Sharif Pennington. We'll be back next Monday night for another edition of Tornado Talk. Until then, go Tornadoes.